Oh. It was a peaceful afternoon. Dad had to step out for a bit.
Đâu vào thế nào? Vào đây vào thế nào? Đâu, đây vào đây. Viết gì đây? Vẽ gì đây? Vẽ cái gì đây? Nào. Ly nhá, ly này, cái ly này. Ly nhá. Thấy không? Ly nhá. Được chưa?
Before leaving, he patted Lily on the head and gave her some careful instructions. Be a good girl while I'm gone, Lily. Remember to study hard. I'll check on you when I get back. Lily nodded vigorously, her face full of determination. But as soon as the sound of Dad's bike faded past the gate, the house fell strangely silent. Lily looked at her pile of books, then looked around. Her focus quickly lost the battle against curiosity and the urge to play. First, Lily's tummy started grumbling. Maybe a carton of milk will help me study better, she thought. She scampered to the fridge, flung the door open, and grabbed her favorite milk. After drinking it down in one go, instead of walking to the trash can, she lazily tossed the empty carton right onto the cold floor. That wasn't all. Lily spotted Dad's phone left on the table. That shiny gadget was way more interesting than boring old pencils.
Oh, no.
She picked it up and started messing around with it, but her clumsy hand slipped. Bang! The phone hit the floor. Lily panicked, her heart pounding, but she quickly brushed the fear aside. In just a few moments, the tidy room had turned into a total battlefield. Dad was home. Dad walked in and stood stunned at the scene. The fridge was open, the milk carton was on the floor, pens were everywhere, and worst of all, his phone was lying face down on the ground. Lily jumped. She froze, her eyes wide with fear,
Ba người đi ra ngoài một xíu.
sneaking a peek at
Xem
Dad's
bài
face.
sao làm nhà loạn xạ rồi hả Ly? Tủ chưa đóng này.
Dad's voice dropped low.
Uống sữa.
He didn't shout, but he sounded stern and disappointed.
Làm sao?
Lily shrank back. She knew she was
Uống
in
sữa thì bỏ
big
trong thùng rác
trouble.
chứ.
Dad started
Đi.
listing her
Điện
crimes.
thoại bể nó kìa, rớt điện thoại kìa. Bố từng vứt lên thêm nhà kìa. Ly. Bà nhắc Ly mấy lần rồi.
Every question felt like a pinch to Lily's heart.
Phải ngoan chứ Ly. Uống sữa phải sạch sẽ chứ, phải bỏ thùng rác chứ. Tủ phải đóng lại chứ. Phải học bài chứ.
But the sentence that made her feel the most guilty
Bác một ly
was,
nha.
I'm really sad about this, Lily. Lily wasn't playful anymore. She slumped down, head low, eyes looking down in shame. She realized her playfulness hadn't just made a mess, it had made Dad sad. Regret washed over her. She wished she could turn back time to pick up the milk carton and put the phone away.
Dad. Dad. Sorry.
Cái lỗi của mình rồi đúng không, Ly?
Seeing Lily sitting there,
Xong rồi thế đấy
silently,
nha.
looking pitiful and
Nha,
about to
đây,
cry,
cái này.
Dad's anger vanished. He knew she
Nè.
understood her mistake. He asked gently,
Không được vậy
"You
nha.
know what you did wrong, right,
Yeah.
Lily? Don't be naughty like that again, okay?" Lily looked up. Her eyes were still a bit fearful,
Xem nào.
but she saw the warmth returning to
Xem
Dad's
đi dọn dẹp ở
face.
đâu nè.
He opened his arms and hugged her tight to comfort her. "It's okay. Daddy loves you."
Dọn dẹp ở đâu nào.
That hug felt incredibly warm, chasing away all her fear. Lily nuzzled into Dad's chest, as if trying to say sorry without words.
Đã ngủ ngon hả? Đã ngủ ghế ngon
After
hả?
being forgiven, Lily was much better behaved. She seemed to promise herself that she would be tidier from now on.
Dad.
Meanwhile, in the sunny kitchen, her dad was carefully peeling sweet purple potatoes to prepare a meal.
Ba làm khoai chế cho Ly ăn nhé.
In the living room nearby, Lily was busy with her next important job. She took a yellow sponge and diligently wiped the glass table until it sparkled, then moved on to cleaning the bright white floor. Suddenly, the sharp knife slipped, leaving a small cut on his finger.
Oh my god.
Lily heard his soft, "Ouch!"
Dad.
and looked up. Her big round eyes widened when she saw the tiny drop of blood on her dad's hand. "Dad, are you okay?"
Ai da, đau quá
Her
kìa.
expression instantly changed from surprise
Trời
to
ơi.
deep worry.
Không may thôi. Nha. Không sao đâu ha.
Without waiting a second, Lily turned into a tiny little rescuer. She spun around and dashed down the long white hallway. Lily scrambled onto the bed. Her mission: get the first aid kit. Then climbed from the bed onto a taller table where the white box with a red cross sat. Even though the box was big and heavy for her small frame, she managed to pull it down, wobbling a bit as she jumped off the table. With the medical equipment in hand, Lily scurried back to her dad.
Ủa, cái gì Ly? Trời.
She placed the box down and, with a skillful move, unlatched it and started searching. Her sharp eyes quickly spotted the antiseptic and a pack of
Cái này là
bandages.
thuốc bôi nè.
She
phải cho
solemnly
nhé.
picked them up and handed them to her dad with a very serious expression.
Thôi để bà lấy cái băng gạc nhé, bà lấy băng gạc nhé. Đây ha. Lấy một cái băng gạc nhé. Đây. Rồi. Được rồi nè, thấy chưa? Đau lắm nha, đau lắm.
Seeing his little daughter, sweaty but so quick-witted and caring, Lily's dad was amazed. He completely forgot about the sting in his finger. His heart swelled with pride and endless love for his smart, kind-hearted little girl.
Đây, đi ngồi đây. Rồi, bỏ đây với ba đi thôi, bỏ đây. Bỏ đây. Đúng rồi. Đó. Đây nữa. Bỏ đây đi con. Đây nữa. Không sao đâu con nhé. Không sao nhé. Giỏi lắm. Muốn làm giúp ba hả? Đây, ba làm cho đi xem nhé. Này, này cắt này, cầm để đây đây, để đây đây. Đây, đây, đúng rồi. Đúng rồi. Đó, bỏ ra đây con. Cầm tay nhé, tay của ba đấy, được chưa? Đúng rồi. Đúng rồi. Đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Đúng rồi. Con bỏ vào đây đi, bỏ đây đi con. Đây này, bỏ đây. Đây nữa, đây nữa. Đúng rồi, bỏ dưới không? Bỏ đây con. Đúng rồi, đây nữa. Bỏ đây. Rồi, giỏi lắm. Lily. Này Lily. Vào đây Lily ơi, vào đây. Đây đi. Bỏ vào đồi này, bỏ đây này. Đúng rồi, đây nữa. Đây không? Đúng rồi, bỏ đây. Đúng rồi, đây nữa. Đây nữa. Đây. Đây nữa. Đây nữa con. Đây nữa. Giỏi. Đi nước đi con, đi nước đi. Mang vào đây. Đúng rồi, mang vào đây bỏ. Đó. Bỏ vô. Rồi, đi nữa ha, đi nữa ha. Đi này đắp lại đi, này đắp lại. Nước hả, nước hả? Bố Phú, ăn nước hả? Được chưa? Cầm lấy này. Rồi, bỏ đây con, bỏ đây. Oh, shit. Rồi, Lily, để vung lại con. Nè. Thôi chờ tí nhá. Để vào lau cái nhà tí nhá. Không sao đi nhá, không sao đâu ha. Thôi rồi đi ở đây nào. Không ngồi đi ha. Nè, con lau với ba đi, lau đi. Con lau đây, nè, lau với ba đi, đúng rồi. Lau đây này. Lau đây nữa, đúng rồi kia. Wow. Rồi đi nè. Ngồi đây, ngồi đây, ngồi đây nhé, ngồi đây nhé, được chưa? để ba tí nhé. Không sao hết. Không sao đây nhé, không sao đâu ha. Không sao hết. Thôi con ngồi đây để bà lấy khoai cho Ly ăn nhé. Ngồi đây, ngồi đây, ngồi đây. Ngồi đây con. Đứng im thôi. Đến đây. Rồi, ra đây nào. Đây là để đi nhé, nóng lắm á. Đi nè. Đi tối không? Ngồi yên không? Thôi ta đó. Đây là hả? Đây, rồi. Ăn đi nha. Đó. Xong rồi hả con? Xong rồi hả? Không sao đâu Ly nhé. Hết rồi. Cái này hết rồi ha. Bà dán là khách hết rồi ha. Giỏi quá. Qua đây bà ôm này. Qua đây. Đây. Đây, chào Phúc, chào Phúc. Đây. Đây. Giỏi lắm.
That afternoon, the sweltering summer heat made Lily feel very uncomfortable as she swayed in her hammock. It's so hot today, she sighed. A cool idea suddenly struck her. Lily hopped down from the hammock and ran straight to the bathroom. With all her might, she pushed the pink bathtub into place. To reach the faucet, she climbed onto a white paint bucket. And used her tiny feet to turn the handle. Water rushed into the tub. Once everything was ready, Lily joyfully jumped into the tub, happily splashing around in the cool, soapy water. "It's so cool," she chirped, enjoying her creation. Her happy giggles echoed through the bathroom, chasing away the summer heat. But she wasn't done yet. Lily grabbed the shampoo bottle and pushed the pump a few times to make a bubbly foam.
Ly ơi! Ly! Ly ơi!
Dad.
Ly ơi, dưa này! Ly ơi! Ly! Ly!
After she had her fun, her dad came in. He smiled lovingly, took a soft red towel, and gently dried his little girl.
Thơm đấy nhỉ? Nè. Rồi, rồi. Nè. Ui giời, đưa vào lau cho nào. Đưa chân đây con. Đúng rồi, lau sạch chân nha. Rồi, nào cho bà tí nha. Đây. Rồi.
Then he
Đến đây nè.
carefully put a
Đây nè.
clean diaper on her and dressed her in a cute red and white plaid dress.
Đứng lên con, đứng lên, đứng lên. Đó. Đúng rồi. Đó. Đây, trên đây. Xuôi thẳng tay ra con. Đúng rồi. Ra con mua dưa kìa ha. Tí nữa này ra làm dưa ăn nhá. Đứng lên nào, đứng lên, đứng thẳng lên. Rồi, nó sai cô khẩu cho. Đứng lên con, đứng lên. Đó, đúng rồi đấy. À. Hả? Để ba mở cho Lily xem nhé. Đây. Nào khui nào Lily. Đi khui đi. Đi mở đi. Đúng rồi, đúng rồi.
When the box was opened, Lily had to scream with delight. Inside was a sparkling pink toy car, her dream gift. Unable to wait any longer, the two of them started to assemble it. Lily proved to be very skillful and enthusiastic. She single-handedly attached each wheel and helped her dad install the windshield and headlights. Hee! Finally, when the car was complete, Lily proudly sat in the driver's seat, ready for new adventures. The pink car quickly became Lily's indispensable companion. She drove it all over the yard, carrying her things and always remembering to wear her cute little helmet. Oh! During one of her rides, the car's wheel unfortunately got stuck. But for an independent monkey like Lily, that wasn't a big problem. She calmly went into the house.
Uh-oh.
Found a screwdriver in the toolbox and came back, concentrating on fixing the wheel with expertise. After the car was working again, Lily even carefully used a brush to sweep away the leaves that had fallen inside. She took care of her gift with great care and responsibility.
La la la.
Ủa? Đi đâu Ly? Hả? Đi đâu ba? Ly, đi đâu vậy?
Đi mua đồ hả? Tao mua bánh cho Ly nè. Mua củ nè, bánh củ này thấy chưa?
Wow.
Đúng rồi, mua các con thích nè. Con đừng ăn bánh nhá, thấy chưa này? Tao bỏ giờ đây tí nhá.
Hỏi đi nhé. Đi về ha. Này, ba có mua củ nữa này. Thấy chưa? Thôi đi về ha.
Today, Lily looked like a true little farmer. First, father and daughter prepared together for the task of planting a new flower to add more beauty to their garden. Lily was visibly very eager and enthusiastic. She toddled ahead, then ran back, trying her best to assist Dad in carrying small gardening tools, like a little trowel, a pair of gloves, and most importantly, a potted flowering plant with lovely unopened buds promising to bloom beautifully to the empty patch of ground Dad had carefully selected beforehand. Even though the items were a bit heavy for her, Lily persisted with all her might, sometimes hugging the flower pot tightly, other times dragging the small trowel, her face full of determination. When they reached the planting spot, Lily even imitated Dad, picking up her own tiny trowel, and then diligently, with all her might, tried to dig a small hole in the damp earth. Lily's clumsy but earnest digging efforts made Dad smile fondly. Although Lily's strength probably didn't dig much soil, her enthusiasm and desire to contribute were truly precious.
Thấy chưa?
After Dad had used a larger trowel to dig a hole perfectly sized for the plant's root ball, Lily also carefully helped. Dad placed the potted flower into the center of the hole, making sure it was upright. Then she joined Dad in patting down small handfuls of brown earth around the base of the plant, filling the hole her tiny hands covered in soil. To ensure the newly planted flower had enough moisture and would quickly take root, the next essential step was watering. Once the watering can was full, father and daughter carried it back together to the newly planted flower. Dad graciously let Lily hold the spout of the watering can. Under Dad's guidance, she carefully tilted the can, allowing a gentle stream of cool water to flow down evenly, watering the soil around the base of the small flower. The task of planting the new flower was successfully completed. Now, father and daughter moved on to another equally enjoyable activity, harvesting fresh vegetables and fruits directly from their own garden. Lily once again demonstrated her resourcefulness and skill. She nimbly followed Dad to the beds of lush green vegetables. With a charming little woven bamboo basket in her hand, Lily carefully picked tender young leafy greens, perhaps some spinach, some water spinach, rao mung, or other fragrant herbs, and gently placed them into her basket. Lily's sharp eyes selected very carefully, only picking the freshest, greenest leaves. After gathering a good amount of leafy greens, father and daughter moved on to the tomato trellises, which were laden with fruit. The ripe red tomatoes, plump round and glossy under the sunlight, looked truly tempting. Lily was visibly very excited by these red orbs. She carefully selected the ones that were evenly ripened, then used her small but deft hands to gently twist and pluck them from the vine, trying not to bruise them. Next were the thriving lettuce plants, their fresh green leaves curled tightly into large heads. Lily was also very professional in harvesting lettuce. After a bountiful harvest from the garden, father and daughter brought their fresh spoils into the house. Lily showed no signs of fatigue, but continued her important work by assisting Dad in washing the freshly picked produce. Under the cool running water in the kitchen, Sink Lily carefully washed each lettuce leaf, each tomato, each sprig of green. She tried to remove all the clinging soil, though occasionally water splashed everywhere, wetting her yellow shirt. Her enthusiasm and eagerness remained undiminished.
Nhìn tay thôi, lên này. Đứng lên, đứng lên. Yeah. Tương lai có đây bạn thành phần. Lên nha. Như này. Ngồi đây nhé. Chờ lại tí nha. Đây kìa. Ngồi ghế kìa.
When all the vegetables were cleaned and placed in colanders to drain, Dad and Lily began to prepare a simple yet incredibly nutritious and delicious meal from these very homegrown ingredients. A mixed
này thì
salad
nha,
with
con
crisp
salad nha.
lettuce, juicy tomatoes, refreshing cucumbers, and characteristic aromatic herbs was jointly prepared by father and daughter. Lily helped Dad pick the herbs and arrange the tomatoes on a plate. These small tasks, though, minor represented connection and sharing.
Rồi đi bỏ đây cho ba đi. Đúng rồi, giỏi quá. Còn đi con. Giỏi. Còn đi, đúng rồi. Giỏi. Rồi. Nè. Ôi cha. Ngon quá ha. Đây, bỏ thêm cái gì nhé. Ở đây ha. Đây, đừng ngồi đây nhé. Để ăn nhé. Đây, đi bỏ vô đi. Đây này. Đây, xếp này ha. Rồi, đi nè. Được quá, đây đến ngồi đi.
Then both sat down at the dining table, happily enjoying the meal they had cultivated, harvested, and prepared with their own
Đây, con làm
hands.
đi ăn nhé. Đây.
Lily seemed to greatly enjoy this colorful and naturally flavorful homegrown dish. She used her own little fork, slowly savoring each bite of salad, her face full of delight and contentment. The meal, though simple, contained so much affection and the joy of labor. But Lily's enthusiastic kitchen endeavors didn't stop there. After a light and healthy lunch, father and daughter decided to embark on another culinary adventure together, baking a fragrant loaf of bread, a treat perhaps both of them dearly loved. Lily was entrusted by Dad with an important and also very fun task, kneading the dough. Her small hands dusted with white flour, diligently pressed, pushed, and then folded the soft, pliable, and elastic dough on a clean board. Although Lily's kneading motions were somewhat clumsy and not quite professional, her concentration and the sheer joy evident on her face as she participated in this crucial stage were undeniable. After the dough had been thoroughly kneaded, with some additional help from Dad, of course, it was placed into a pretty baking tin, then carefully put into the preheated oven. waiting for the bread to turn golden brown and fill the house with its delightful aroma, Dad took the opportunity to go back out to the garden to finish some plant care tasks he had started earlier that morning. Lily perhaps also trotted out after Dad or stayed indoors, keeping a watchful eye on the bread, slowly rising and puffing up in the oven. When the rich, sweet aroma of baking bread permeated the entire house, signaling that the loaf was perfectly baked, Lily was visibly very excited and eager. Under Dad's careful guidance and close supervision, as he had come back inside by now, she, perhaps wearing small oven mitts, carefully opened the oven door, then slowly took the golden brown piping, hot loaf of bread out of the oven. A sense of accomplishment shone brightly on Lily's face. Then, Lily, with unconcealed pride, personally carried the warm, fragrant loaf of bread out to the garden for Dad, who was resting under the cool shade of a tree after his work. Dad's face lit up when he saw Lily bringing out the bread. He happily accepted the sweet reward from his little daughter's hands. Using the freshly baked, still warm bread and the clean, fresh vegetables they had harvested from their own garden that morning, Dad skillfully made a simple yet incredibly appealing and nutritious vegetable sandwich. Father and daughter then sat together under the tree, slowly savoring the fruits of their entire morning's labor. A delightful outdoor snack, memorable and filled with the taste of effort and affection. A day for Lily thus passed filled with diligent gardening tasks.
Dad.
One early morning, unlike the usual mornings filled with laughter and energetic activity, the atmosphere in the small, simple house was somewhat subdued and heavy. Lily's dad, her big companion and steadfast support, seemed unwell. He remained in his familiar bed, his face looking a bit pale and weary. And through his somewhat labored breathing, Lily seemed to sense that Dad was feverish. Little monkey Lily, with her special sensitivity and a deep affection for Dad, appeared to have immediately recognized this unusual situation. Seeing Dad lying still, not getting up to play with her or prepare breakfast as usual, Lily showed immense worry and restlessness. She gently on tiptoe approached the edge of the bed. Then, using her tiny soft hands, she lightly nudged Dad's arm. Soft, cheep sounds emanating from her throat, as if trying to call him awake, as if asking questions. When Dad still didn't react much, Lily became even more anxious. She carefully climbed onto the bed, snuggled her small, furry face against Dad's forehead, then pressed her own cheek against his, as if trying to check his temperature herself. Her big, round, dark eyes at this moment shone with an unconcealed anxiety, a sincere concern. These tender gestures, though clumsy and entirely instinctual, were enough to show the profound care and heartfelt affection Lily had for her beloved Dad. After a while of trying to wake Dad with gentle nudges and calls without much success, Lily performed an incredibly intelligent and thoughtful act, one that was truly astonishing. She toddled over to the familiar refrigerator in the kitchen corner, a place she knew well. With her dexterity and perhaps a bit of luck, Lily managed to open the refrigerator door herself. She peered inside amidst the bottles and food containers and quickly found a cool bottle of water, perhaps filtered water, or a nutritious fruit juice that Dad often prepared. Lily carefully hugged the bottle, which was a bit heavy and cumbersome for her small frame, then slowly, step by step, carried it all the way to Dad's bedside. Dad, despite being very tired from the fever, managed to push himself up, a weak but deeply touched smile appearing on his lips as he accepted the bottle of water from his little daughter's trembling hands. Lily's unexpected and sincere care was like a precious spiritual medicine, a great source of encouragement, helping Dad feel somewhat comforted and giving him more strength to fight off his fatigue. A little later, after drinking some water and feeling a bit better, Dad decided he had to try to get up and cook something light and easy to digest, both for himself to regain strength and also to have something for Lily to eat, as she too had been worried and was probably hungry by now. Lily, like a little shadow, also trotted after Dad into the kitchen, not leaving his side for a moment, her eyes still reflecting concern and care. Dad decided to cook carrot porridge, a simple but nutritious dish, very good for someone who was unwell and also suitable for Lily's palate. Lily also seemed to assist Dad by sitting quietly beside him, her big round eyes curiously watching Dad take rice from the jar and wash it clean, then carefully peel, wash, and dice the fresh, bright orange carrots into tiny pieces. Afterwards, all the ingredients were put into a small pot with just enough water, then placed on the stove to simmer gently until the porridge was cooked through and the carrots were soft. The fragrant aroma of porridge and the sweet scent of carrots began to slowly, gently permeate the cozy kitchen space. When the carrot porridge had been thoroughly simmered, the rice grains had bloomed open, blending with the soft carrot pieces to create a smooth, creamy mixture that emitted a wonderfully enticing aroma. Dad carefully turned off the stove. He gently ladled the porridge into 2 pristine white porcelain bowls, a large full bowl for himself, and a small pretty bowl with just the right portion for Lily. Dad even carefully let the porridge cool down a bit before giving it to Lily, afraid she might burn herself. Father and daughter sat together at the small kitchen table, slowly savoring the hot, nutritious porridge. Lily seemed to really enjoy this porridge. She used her little spoon, scooping up each spoonful with gusto, occasionally looking up at Dad with happy eyes. Perhaps thanks to the devoted care and warm affection of his little daughter Lily. Along with the nourishing carrot porridge, Dad felt much stronger. The fever seemed to have subsided somewhat, and his spirits were also lifted.
Dad.
Gì Ly? Gì đấy? Dậy rồi hả? Đi dậy rồi hả? Dậy sớm thế. Thoải mái này. Thoải mái này. Thôi dậy nào. Này Ly này. Này cho cha này. Này, đi vào đây đi.
In the afternoon, after a nap that was perhaps to fully recover his health from the morning's illness, Dad felt much more alert, healthier, and full of energy. Looking out into the yard, seeing the sun had softened and a gentle breeze was blowing, he decided to take Lily outside for a bit of exercise and a change of scenery after a somewhat gloomy and anxious morning, because Dad had been sick. Dad gently approached the spot where Lily was soundly napping. Perhaps she too was tired after looking after Dad. He lightly shook Lily's shoulder, then softly called her name. The little monkey stirred, then slowly opened her eyes. Seeing Dad looking healthier, his face brighter, Lily was visibly overjoyed and happy. Cheep cheep sounds once again filled the air.
Chặt đi nhá, ôm chặt vào nha. Ôm chặt vào, đúng rồi, ôm chặt vào, ha. Cầm chặt tay vào. Lấy nọ, đúng rồi. Đây này, đặt đây. Đi thôi. Đây. Quê. Cầm cho ba này đó. Đây, cầm cho ba. Đi đây, đúng rồi. Đi nào. Đi thôi. Đây đi ơi. Đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Để ba đi nhá. Đây này, đi đây coi. Đây này. Làm gì đi? Làm gì á? Đi đây nào, đi đây. Ăn thử đi. Được không? Ngon không? Úi giời, ngon quá ha. Yeah. Nè. Lạc ngon ha. Đấy, bỏ đây nhé.
Father and daughter cheerfully went out to the small garden behind their house, a green, cool space with neat rows of vegetables that Dad had diligently cultivated and cared for. Here, Lily once again demonstrated her resourcefulness and cooperative spirit by helping Dad harvest some fresh vegetables for their upcoming dinner. She toddled between the rows of vegetables, sometimes stopping by the patch of young green sweet potato leaves, using her tiny hands to pick the tender shoots. Other times, she would find some ripe red tomatoes still clinging to the vine after previous harvests. Lily's small hands worked nimbly, making her look no different from a true little farmer, diligent and full of enthusiasm.
Chọc. Nào, lên cái ly nhá. Chưa? Rồi thì bắt đầu cái ly nhá. Được không? Đấy. Đây ly này. Ôi. Wow. Đây này. Ui. Đây. Wow. Này luộc ăn nhá. Thấy chưa? Thấy tiếp này. Đây đi. Ồ, quá. Đúng rồi. Mới đi con. Rồi đó, đúng rồi. Ồ, cho xem nào. Lia, đúng rồi, đúng rồi, đã rồi. Nè, đúng chưa? Thôi nhé, thôi về thôi ha. Về về mình làm nhé. Mẹ ăn rồi nhé. Mẹ ăn sao nhé? Đi nào Lia, đứng lên con. Đứng lên, đi nào. Đây nè. Đây. Đi này. Đi đâu đi?
After gathering a basket full of fresh, delicious vegetables, enough for their dinner, Dad carefully placed Lily into the familiar motorbike basket. The basket was lined with a soft cushion and had safety straps to ensure Lily wouldn't fall out while the motorbike was moving. Then, father and daughter set off on a slightly longer outing, perhaps, to a place with even fresher air and more beautiful scenery to lift their spirits. Dad's familiar motorbike chugged along the peaceful village road, a cool afternoon breeze, carrying the faint scent of ripening rice. However, the trip was not entirely smooth sailing, as father and daughter had hoped. As they were passing through a section of dirt road, perhaps due to a sudden downpour the previous night, this stretch of road had become extremely muddy, slippery, and difficult to navigate. Dad's motorbike, despite his efforts to ride very slowly and carefully, eventually got stuck in the mire, its rear wheels spinning without being able to move forward. Dad had no choice but to turn off the engine, get off the bike, and then use all his strength to try and push the heavy motorbike through this challenging section of road. Lily sat in the basket, perhaps also sensing Dad's struggle and difficulty. She sat guai-guai, like still not fidgeting or disturbing Dad, her small eyes watching Dad with concern, like a silent encouragement, an unspoken sharing of the burden. After a period of relentless effort, with beads of sweat trickling down his forehead, father and daughter finally managed to get through the treacherous muddy patch and arrived home safely, albeit a little spattered with mud on their clothes and the vehicle. To celebrate this somewhat arduous but also memorable trip, and also to have a warm, nutritious evening meal. After their efforts, Dad decided to steam sweet potatoes and peanuts. Simple, rustic, familiar dishes, but incredibly delicious and healthy, and also very easy to digest.
Quay đã đưa cái xe ở đây nè, mai cái tìm đi chợ ở đây. Đấy, đi chợ đây. Không ở đây nhá, ở đây vẫn được khoai nhá. Cái mũi ra nè. Mũi kìa, cắt cái mũi được không? Cắt mũi bếp nhá, cắt mũi màng đi. Đây ngồi đi.
Lily once again sat beside Dad in the kitchen, her round eyes eagerly watching Dad wash the golden orange sweet potatoes plump and round, then the fresh peanuts, their shells still clinging with a bit of moist earth. Afterwards, Dad placed everything into a steamer, set it on the stove over a gentle flame.
Vào đây. Đúng rồi, vào đây thôi. Vào đây luôn. Vào đây này. Giỏi quá. Đây nữa coi. Vào đây. Đúng rồi. Thế thôi nhé. Để rửa thêm một tí nữa nhé. Cho vào đây ha. Đây này, cho vào đây này, đây này. Đây đi vào đây. Đây. Đây đi cầm đây. Vào đây này. Đúng rồi, bỏ đi. Bỏ đây. Đúng rồi, bỏ đây. Bỏ đây này con. Bỏ lấy đi. Bỏ. Đó, đây rồi. Đây này, bỏ đây ha. Đây. Ok, con ngồi đi. Ngồi yên đó ha. Đi còn lại để ba cho nha. Ok. Rồi, được rồi. Được rồi. Đưa đây mình chờ tí ha. Đưa đây mình chờ xíu nhé. Đúng không? Mình chờ xíu nhé. Nào, đi lấy ghế đi. Ghế này, ghế đây này. Kéo đây con. Đây, đây, đây. Đây. Đây nè. Qua đi đi. Đây. Một chào tí nhá, lấy cái móc nha. Đây. Để xíu ha. Đi đâu đấy? Đi đâu đấy? Đi đâu? Sáng đi đâu? Oh.
A little while later, as the sweet potatoes and peanuts began to cook through their characteristic sweet nutty aroma, started to permeate the entire house, creating a truly warm, simple, and incredibly comforting feeling. Finally, when everything was perfectly soft and cooked, Dad carefully arranged them on a plate. Father and daughter sat down together at their small table, slowly savoring the simple, yet deeply affectionate meal. The sweetness of the honeyed sweet potatoes, the nutty, savory taste of the hot peanuts, blended with the joy of sharing, and the bond forged after a long day full of challenges, concluded a day with many emotions, much joy, and also meaningful lessons about family affection, care, and perseverance. Once everything was clean, they sat down together to watch TV again, and the atmosphere was peaceful. A little while later, Lily's stomach began to protest. Now, in a new yellow and black striped outfit, she snuck into the kitchen and discovered a banana.
Wow!
Without hesitation, she peeled it herself and ate it with delight.
Yummy.
With a full belly and high spirits, Lily felt life was wonderful. But the joy was short-lived. Just a few minutes later, A gurgle, gurgle sound echoed from her stomach like a warning. A sharp, cramping pain struck. Lily's face turned pale, and she dashed to the bathroom like a rocket. After taking care of business, she stepped out with a sigh of relief. But she hadn't enjoyed her freedom for more than 3 seconds before the enemy named Stomachache launched another fierce attack. The little girl had to make a 180-degree turn and rush back to her base. The scene repeated itself over and over. Lily would just reach the doorway, only to scurry back in, looking both pitiful and comical. After a few laps of this marathon between the living room and the bathroom, Lily was exhausted and desperate. She decided she had to call for help from the commander-in-chief. She ran upstairs, forgetting to even put her pants back on, whimpering and pointing at her tummy.
Gì vậy? Đâu vậy? Quần áo con đâu? Thúi rồi. Thúi rồi. Sao thúi rồi?
Seeing his daughter's state, her dad grew worried, asked what was wrong, and followed her.
Đâu xem nào, đâu? Quần áo đấy hả? Áo đấy hả? Áo này quần đâu đi? Quần con đâu? Đâu con xem nào. Trời ơi. Đâu con xem? Đúng quá. Đúng quá đi.
After helping Lily get cleaned up and dressed again, they went upstairs together. Stopping in the kitchen, her dad saw the banana peel and the leftover piece, which had dark spots, a clear sign it had gone bad. His heart suddenly ached with a mix of pity for his daughter and blame for his own carelessness. He quickly got some liquid medicine and said gently, "There now, my sweet girl, drink a little of this, and the pain will go away." He poured the medicine onto a small spoon, carefully blew on it to lessen the strong smell, and slowly gave it to Lily. His eyes were brimming with boundless worry and love.
Rồi, uống cái là nhanh khỏi nhé, Ly nhé.
After taking the medicine, Lily was still sniffling. Her dad immediately pulled his little daughter into his arms, patting her small back. The hug was so warm and steady, as if it could chase away all pain and fear. Lily buried her head in her dad's chest, inhaling his familiar scent and feeling completely safe. Her dad's arms were always the most peaceful place, and perhaps the best medicine of all was his boundless love.
Mai đẹp lắm, Ly. Ly này. này nhé. Quá đẹp nhé Linh nhé.
Này.
Nè vào cho Ly này. Được không? Ừ. Được không? Cho đi ra con cá đi. Đi. Con cá đi.
One fresh morning, as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the leaves, Dad and Lily were by the small fish pond. The pond's surface sparkled like a mirror, reflecting the clear blue sky. But today, it seemed the fish pond needed a good bath. Dad gently explained to Lily that to keep their fish friends healthy, the pond water always had to be clean.
Bây giờ mình lấy xô nhé, lấy xô mình thay nước cho cá nhé. Nè, cá này. Rồi. Thấy không? Cá bị cái gì này? Chết rồi, nó bị cái gì này? Chết rồi, thấy không? Nè. Bây giờ lấy xô được cá nhá. Đi nhá. Đi đi. Đi nhá, cá đi lấy xô. Không ngồi đó đi. Lấy nước ở đây Linh nhé.
The father and daughter began the cleaning work together. Dad carefully used a net to scoop out dry leaves or small branches that had fallen into the pond.
Đi Linh. Nè, con Tàu là con lấy cho ba cái vợt nhá, vợt cá nhá. Trên kia đi. Cá đi con. Đây các bạn nào. Rồi cảm ơn Linh nhá. Không ngồi nói chờ tí nhá. Để mắt nha. Đó, thấy chưa nè. Đấy. Đó là mình thay nước cho cá lên nhá. Đây đi này. Nè. Thấy không? Đi này, đi đây, đi. Đây. Thấy không? Này. Ta thử xem. Để bắn vào đây nha.
Lily more meticulously used her small hands after washing them, of course, to pick up tiny bits of moss or debris floating around. Dad smiled and patted his daughter's head, praising Lily for being so nimble.
Ý thế này đây nhỉ? À, nè. Vào ông Ly. Đi đây nè. Bây giờ mình mang cái này lên nhá. Đây đi. Này. Rồi, bây giờ con xả nước vào đây nhá. Đi, đi ra xả vòi nước đi con.
The next task was refilling the pond. Dad turned on the pump, and a stream of clear, cool water gushed forth, filling the fish pond. Lily stood nearby, her tiny hands trying to touch the flowing water, feeling its coolness and freshness. Dad also meticulously planted fresh green aquatic plants in the pond, transforming it into a truly ideal home for their underwater friends. When the pond was somewhat empty, Dad carefully carried a small bucket, inside which were sparkling little fish with silvery scales. Today we're adding new friends to the pond. Lily! Dad said, his voice tender. Lily babbled excitedly, her round eyes following each fish as Dad gently released them into the water. The new fish quickly joined the old school, swimming lively and creating shimmering streaks on the water's surface.
Yeah. Đi bạn kia đi à? Không. Đấy đi đâu? Con đi lấy cá này nhé. Lấy cá với vịt nhá. Đi đi, đi không? Đi đi. Cá nhá.
Afterward, it was feeding time for the fish. Lily eagerly ran to get the food container.
Đây đi. Cảm ơn Ly nhá. Đây ba. Cá nhá. Nè, đây cho cá này. Nè, thấy không? Ngoài đâu bỏ xuống đi con. Ít rồi nha.
Dad gently sprinkled the food into the pond, and immediately the fish rushed towards it, forming ripples on the water's surface. Lily clapped her hands with delight, her small lips curving into a smile. Leaving the fish pond, the father and daughter headed towards the ducklings' coop. The fluffy yellow ducklings were chirping loudly, demanding food. Dad brought a full bowl of feed. Lily, without waiting for Dad's prompt, quickly sprinkled the food on the ground. The ducklings eagerly pecked at it, creating a lively and adorable scene. Lily delightedly bent down, gently stroking a duckling that was engrossed in eating. Her love for animals was truly pure and natural. Bebby the goat and gardening work, Dad. And Lily's garden wasn't just home to fish and ducks. It also had Bebby the goat, with his fluffy white coat and small charming horns. Bebby was Lily's close friend, always trotting after her.